Well, that's cool. That's awesome. What about so? I guess since you talked about you did the stilt gig in San Jose, like how did you get into doing stilts? That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it was really it's this guy named Roy Johns who's also from Northern California.
Okay.
He was in a group called the Mums, which were like in LA, they were like a famous kind of like punk rock
Yeah.
circus juggling act.
Oh
And
wow. Didn't know
then
about that.
Yes.
and then the late 90s he trained, well actually mid 90s, he started a group called Girls on Stilts, and I used to be a dancer. So I met him through a mutual dancer, and then he trained us all and on stilt walking, and that was before circus became very like mainstream. So um, we did a lot of different gigs like the U2 after party and like I don't know, a bunch of
Oh
just
wow.
random things, but it was really fun.
That's cool. What was the transition like going from being like a dancer to being a stilt performer?
Pretty natural, actually. The big joke was, well, because I never really fit in with like hip hop, like mainstream dance. I was kind of like I trained as a ballerina, and then I tried to be like a professional dancer, and circus still walking kind of hit my sweet spot because it was like the weirdos.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it felt kind of fun and natural. And walking on stilts at parties was really fun because it was like we were a bunch of us were became really good friends, and we were the tallest people at the party, so everyone would look at us.
It's like you guys had your own like conversations up top.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like the best way to go. And we usually wore little masks and wigs, so we were in disguise, and it made you feel very like you could do anything. It was fun.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, this is a good place to start. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Hypothetical Comedy Podcast. I am Funky Sam Medina,
And I'm Athena Rodriguez.
and we are here with comedian, actress, and still walker, Precious Chong. How are you,
Oh,
Precious?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being here. It's super. It's an honor for us to be talking to you right now.
Yeah. So you know Linda Camacho, is that how you guys?
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually got we became pretty good friends with Linda Camacho during the pandemic, doing the Zooms and things like that, and hanging out and doing comedy together online, all that fun stuff.
I love it. That was like one of the perks of the pandemic was connecting with people you wouldn't otherwise, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have friends in like almost every state and a lot of countries now just because of that. We were doing a lot of online mics, we were running a lot of online stuff, and yeah, we just met a lot of awesome people, including Linda.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But she was beaming about how you helped her in a sense of, I think you were holding classes and training her, and she said you were very patient and you just kind of like changed her world with comedy, really.
Yeah,
Oh, that's so good to hear.
yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
sh- she's such a character, and I like teaching comedy. It's fun. I never thought I would, it's something I kind of fell into, and I grew up around comedy, so maybe that's why it's natural for me, but it's really fun to, help people kind of find their voice. I basically just listen and laugh, and then people gain confidence. And it's just an interesting journey because it's like not always, it's you never know who's gonna stick with it, who who you know and everyone is usually, well, everyone has such interesting backgrounds and stories, and when you tap into that, it really is, I find it fascinating, and I like hearing people's stories. So and Linda has an interesting background, and she's just such uh you know a one of a kind type of person.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely, definitely. So how did you get involved in Second City?
Um, I got contacted by, I can't think of his name now, but he used to run the teaching program, Kevin Frank. Kevin Frank contacted me in like 2016, I think it was, and he said, "Hey, do you want to teach stand up?" And I wasn't sure because number one, I had only done stand up maybe at that point since 2010 10. I mean, I dabbled in it when I in my 20s, but I never stuck with it. I did a lot of like sketch comedy. Like I did Groundlings in LA and um the training and then I was around a lot of comedians, but then I started doing it in Toronto, funnily enough, and then Kevin Frank contacted me because I guess he wanted more female teachers,
Okay, yeah.
and so I thought I'd give it a shot, and I ended up really liking it. It was fun.
That's incredible. And we do need a lot more, female voices in comedy. So that's good that you're out there and you're inspiring a generation of female comics.
Yeah, I think it helps too because I think if it's only male comedians, they I think comedy is so subjective anyways. You respond to things that you relate to. So the more diverse the teachers, the more diverse the responses, and it's more open and so much of I think comedy to me, especially if you are not, you know the usual, I mean it's changing now, but the usual comedian um is just feeling confident enough and not intimidated to just go up there and do it. It's all about confidence, really. It's all about just having the balls to do it and
Yeah.
fail.
Yeah, no,
there's a
you're
lot
absolutely right. Because I
there's
know
a
when,
lot of failure.
yeah, when I know when I'm feeling super confident, like I do good. And then when I'm not feeling so confident, I kind of like don't do great. So you're
Even when
absolutely
you're
right
doing
about
the
that.
same jokes.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly, exactly. Doing the
It's
same jokes, just
crazy.
your mindset going onto that stage sometimes.
I know, I
Yeah.
know.
Were you involved when the Second City went online? And then what was that transition like during the
Yeah,
pandemic? I mean?
that was so weird. I kind of like during the time I kind of hated it. But I think everybody did. It
Yeah, we
was
all kind of loved it and hated it at the same time.
it was hard to connect, and then but then the gift, I mean, I don't think Second City would like it. Then I realized I was like, "Oh, I don't need to teach for Second City. I can just do it on my own because we're on Zoom." And
Yes.
Yeah,
so I just started to run my own classes, which made me kind of customize what I like. I mean, it's harder to get students because I don't have the Second City reach.
right.
But I was able to like keep my classes to like 7 people and 2 hours, because like 3 hours and 15 people is just a lot, and you
Yeah.
don't give people the attention they need. So I just started teaching on my own after the transition from Second City. But it was a crazy time thinking back to it.
Yeah, definitely. Are you still teaching on your own?
I am. Just started back in person teaching at this place, this bar in Toronto that offered me a space. So they have like a comedy space in the basement called Tall Boys. So I started in person, but I was teaching online all through up until the summer. I think I taught, so then I started to teach one online class and one in-person class. And
Yeah.
I'm not teaching December, but I probably will start up again in January, maybe. But the thing about teaching online was I was able to teach people in California
Yeah.
and in different places and in
Yep.
Texas. So that was better. But yeah, I'm going to start up again in January probably.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
How can people contact you if they're interested in hearing more information about that?
I'm on Facebook. That's probably the best way. But my email is really easy. It's my name at yahoo.com
Nice.
because I'm old.
Awesome.
I won't let go of,
No,
I
those are the
haven't,
best emails though, because it's straight to the point.
Yeah.
I have a Gmail, but there's a, believe it or not, there's another Precious Chong that lives in Hawaii, I think.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
And
that is
she
pretty
got the
crazy.
Gmail. She's younger than
Oh,
me.
dang.
So my Gmail is Chong Precious, which isn't bad, but
No, that's not bad. That's funny. I
No.
bet
yeah,
she gets a bunch of emails for you.
I
Oh.
wonder. I wonder. I haven't heard any.
You should hit her up. Be like, hey, do you have any emails to forward to me? That's awesome. So did you grow up in Toronto?
No, I grew up in Los Angeles, actually.
Oh, okay, okay. That's awesome. What was it like? What was it like growing up for you? Because your story's gonna be a little bit different because you had a famous father. So what was that kind of like for you? At what age, I guess, did you really discover that things were a little bit different for you?
Yeah. Well, I think it was pretty much from right from the get-go. Um, I knew because my parents were hippies even before my dad was famous. My name was Precious. He had long hair, and we were just different from everybody. And then I remember going on the road with him in Cheech. So I was like maybe 4 or 5, and so we'd watch them perform.
That's
Um,
incredible.
yeah, it was really fun. It just, when you're a kid, it all just seems like it's your life, so you
Yeah,
don't really notice, but it was fun. My mom said that she'd always have to take me away when they did the old man in the park because he pretends to die in it. And so I would
oh
get
wow.
upset. So she'd always have to take me out. But I mean, most of the comedy I didn't get because I was so little, but I just knew that they were, Cheech and Chong were just, that's their job. And I kind of grew up as they got more and more famous. So it was like, the real estate, the places we lived in got nicer, and um, they got more famous, but it wasn't like, it was mild, it was kind of gradual, I guess. But as a
Yeah.
teenager, I kind of rebelled against it. I wanted to just be, have a normal name and just like be a normal teenage girl. And that was,
Yeah, I
That's
bet. I
always the
bet.
it's really,
plan.
it's really challenging to rebel when your parents are counterculture. It's like, what do? You
Right.
get
Then
good
you have to be
grades.
actual
Be
culture.
straight edge. Like,
You have to get good grades and go to
Yeah.
university.
You have to be straight laced, exactly.
That's what I did.
Oh, nice.
Precious got a 401k. Can you believe her?
4.0, what
She's
was
just
happening?
acting up.
That's awesome. Do you have any fun stories like being on the road with Cheech and Chong act and stuff like that? Like that you experienced?
Um, yeah, I do. I have this one vivid memory. Um, when these fans came to my backstage to this show, and one of the guys was like, "Oh man, you were so funny. I peed my pants," and he had pee, and his pants were wet, and I remember being little and being like, "Oh God, like that's sad."
I feel like if that happened to me, I probably wouldn't find the person and admit it to them.
Right, with the pee still there.
They're like, yeah, that's one vivid one. Um,
That's
let's
wild.
see. I just remember like they would always put all the kids in the movies, like kind of like just small parts. So I always really liked shooting because I got to have a day off and there was craft service, and
Oh yeah.
um like you got snacks and no school. Like that's basically what I liked about it.
That's good.
But I remember my dad I think it was next movie, they were shooting it at Universal, and um, the Blues Brothers they were shooting at the same time, and I remember him and them talking to John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Um, but you know what's interesting? Maybe it's the cocaine, but comedians at that time were very serious. Like when you met them in person, they were very intense and serious, it's not how you expect.
Yeah. That's interesting. I
Wow.
wonder I wonder if like maybe comedy wasn't like as embraced as it is now, so people didn't feel like they could let their guard down, maybe. I don't know. That's interesting though. You're right.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, looking like, I mean, it's kind of insane what my dad and Cheech did. Like basically it's
Oh
like
yeah.
how did they even have the audacity to make those movies at the time? Like, because
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really exist until they sort of created this. I mean, there
Yeah,
were other like comedy things, but there was never um they
like
were kind
stoner
of,
humor. There was not like stoner humor.
yeah.
Yeah.
So so when I was with my dad over this holiday, he was talking, and I kind of knew this. So my dad used to run, him and his family in Chinatown had this bar, this like, they called it a titty bar. I know that's not very, but it was basically a topless bar in Chinatown.
That's what they call them. That's what they call them.
And and my dad started to get in, he saw the committee, he saw this improv troupe, and he saw Lenny Bruce, and he wanted to do this sketch, and so he started to do sketches at this comedy at the topless bar, and that's when he met Cheech. And so they would perform in Chinatown at this bar, and mostly to like drunk longshoremen. And they met this guy. This was like, I guess, maybe 70, 69, 70. And they met this, there was this guy named Strawberry who was like 16, and he had crazy hair. And he was like, and
Wow.
they were like, "Hey, what's your name?" He's like, "Hey, man, I'm Strawberry." So they hired him to do lights. And that's where my dad got the man character. Like, that's where, "Hey, man," like,
Oh
That is
wow.
that's where man came
awesome.
from.
That's crazy. That's really
Yeah.
cool. Like he
And
did it
some
for so long, so natural. I thought it was just him. You
Yeah.
know?
No, so Strawberry, my dad said Strawberry would do the lights, and he'd be like, sometimes he'd be like, "Oh man, that did not work. That was not funny."
Wow, that is incredible. Uh,
Because Strawberry didn't have a place to live, right? He was like a 16-year-old hippie, and he was like, "Do you, you know?" And they gave him. He slept in the club, and he did the lights. Like, that's the story. So, yeah,
wow, and he like helped inspire like
Star is born.
such a huge phenomenon.
I know. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it because because you were mentioning that when you were teaching comedy, that it was always important to get different perspectives and people, developing their authentic comedy voice. And here your dad does this thing where he implements comedy from a different perspective that people didn't realize there was an audience for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so amazing. It's so amazing
Yeah.
to take that chance and go, hey, I don't know if there's going to be people who like this, but I know I like it.
Yeah,
For
absolutely.
sure. I mean, he was inspired, and there's controversy because some of the people of the committee would say they took sketches, but he was inspired by their sketches, but then him and Cheech brought their own experience and created the
Yeah.
characters, and then it sort of, I mean, that's what comedy is. It's always like
Yeah, absolutely.
stealing, but also
Inspiration.
inspiration, but also sort of your own take on it, which makes it new and different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's incredible. And I would imagine in the beginning for them it was an uphill battle because they're not typically what Hollywood wanted.
Oh, 100%. They
Mhm.
were, it took them like, uh, it doesn't seem long, but they were out there doing open mics in LA for, a good year, 2 years. Um, and they didn't even have a car, so they would ride this like little moped, and um
Wow.
Oh,
they would have to
wow.
wear all of their costumes.
Oh my
I
goodness.
guess yeah, if you wear all your costumes while you're driving, then you don't need a luggage.
Well,
See,
you didn't have anywhere, yeah, so they would literally wear all their costumes and go to these do these open mics, and like, people would like run out of the club because they were so disgusted by their sketches. And
Wow.
I know, but luckily, they found Lou Adler, and he gave them their first shot, and that's the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah.
wonderful. I know you said it was only like a year, but when you are putting in the work, those years kind of drain you because
Well,
you're
yeah, because
working
my
so
dad
hard.
My dad had, he already had a family. He had two families. So he had me and my mom, and then he had Robbie and Radon, my older sisters, and Maxine. So
Oh,
he wasn't like a spring chicken. Like he had responsibility. And
yeah.
my mom, the story goes is my mom had cocktail waitress at that titty bar and made a ton of money. So that's what they were able to live off of in LA for a year. But then they were running out of money, and you know, uh, it was kind of down to the wire. Like Cheech was ready to go back to study to be a teacher, and
Oh
my mom was
man.
going to have to go back to Vancouver. And this is a crazy story. I mean, if you've read his book, it's in there. But the story goes, my mom, we were out of money. My mom couldn't work because she's Canadian there, and I was really little, and my mom's like, I'm gonna have to go. I'm leaving you, Tommy, because we don't have any money. You can't even buy me a pair of shoes." And so he went to the bank to get money out, and the woman asked for the balance, if he wanted to see the balance, and he said sure. And there was like, I think there was like $5,000 in his account, like obviously a mistake, and or way more than he had. He had like about $60 in their account. So we went back and to my mom and said, "Look, there's all this money in the account." And she's like, "Go back and get that money." So they took all this money out, and then there was the earthquake in LA. So all the banks were closed for a couple days, and then the bankers came to our house and was like, there was a mistake. That was not your money. We need to get that money back."
Oh wow,
And
they literally came to your house for that?
yeah.
That's
And
crazy.
the story goes is that we didn't even have any furniture. We just had one blow up chair. And so like the bank manager had to sit in this weird blow up chair. And um my dad was like, "Oh man, I spent it because I thought it was a royalty from my music." So, and they had, yeah. And then like a week later, Lou Adler saw them at the Troubadour and they got their deal. So it was like
Wow.
that little thing changed their lives.
Wow.
I know,
Yeah,
it's not a great story.
that's incredible. Yeah, because that $5,000 just kind of kept them going until they were able to get that deal, and
Yeah.
that just changed their lives forever.
Yeah, my dad has sort of he has that kind of, I guess I'd say charmed life, but he's led the life at like some like a, he's had a very interesting life.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would say so. But I mean, I feel like we all have those moments, but we don't really look at them that way. A lot of the
Yeah,
times
that's
when we're
true.
struggling, we can't see the end results or anything being very positive.
It's
yeah,
true. And I think that's the difference. I think that's, and I don't even have this all the time. I wish I did, but my dad has a real sense of possibility and magic. Like he really believes, like, I think that's why he could do those things, because he take those chances, because he really has that like
yeah.
um whatever that
Connection.
is, connection.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just like he knew, just keep going, and when I get to the end of the rope, something good will happen.
Hmm.
And he just knew that. That's incredible. You mentioned earlier that they were putting kids, hearing cameos, whatever, on the Cheech and Chong movies. Were you in a Cheech and Chong movie?
I was, but I always got cut out.
Here, I still got my snack. I still got my day off.
That's cool. So you're on the deleted scenes, I guess.
Yeah, like I think in one of the movies, they never even really wrote scripts. They would just kind of wing it. Um,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah. I mean, they had a lot of, because they'd done all the sketches over the years, they knew their material. Um, yeah, there was this, I don't want, there was this one movie, and maybe it was next movie, where they had this whole like alien scene where a UFO comes down. and and my sisters and I were like the aliens, but it got cut.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Was that the
Aw.
start of your acting career? Because I know you've done a lot of acting and things like that. Is that kind of what inspired you to do that?
No, not really. I mean, um that was just sort of like what my dad did. I don't, I used to do I did commercials when I was little because I grew up in LA, so it was kind of all around me.
Yeah,
But I really
absolutely.
wanted to do something more serious, like be a ballerina and, you know.
So you
So
started
I
oh, I'm
so
sorry, go ahead.
I was more focused on that. Um, and then it wasn't until I liked writing. So then after the ballet thing kind of went to the wayside, I thought, oh, I'll probably be like a writer. So it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I started to think about acting. So it took me a long time because everybody in my family was doing it. So, and I was kind of shy, so I didn't think it was my path, but I don't know. I came around to it.
That's good. So you said you were writing first?
Writing?
You were writing first before you were acting?
Yeah, I studied English lit and language, and I liked writing and I liked dancing, so yeah, I still write a lot. I still write yeah.
That's cool.
And
What
comedy is like right. I mean, comedy is writing.
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the acting or do you prefer the writing?
I love acting. It's so fun. Um so I think I like both because I like writing because I have control. Like I can do it when I want to. I don't have to wait for somebody to hire me to act.
Right.
Um, and I like to write my own stuff. Because I think acting is really fun, but it doesn't use enough of my brain. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
I can't just be an actor. I get too like it's not enough. I mean, maybe if I was on a series all the time, but even then I think I would get frustrated with just having to say other people's things. So acting is fun because it allows me to get out of my head, like to stop thinking, and writing is fun because it allows me to be in my head. So I like both.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh,
way to look at it.
yeah, that is an incredible
And
way to look at it.
comedy is like the marriage of the two,
Yeah,
performing
comedy,
what you wrote.
yeah. But also having that like moment of like you don't know what's going to happen feeling on stage. Because I mean, I don't know about you, but most of the time I do stand up, right before I do it, I'm like, why do I do stand up? I hate this.
Mine is the opposite. I've been doing it since 2009, but every time I go up, my body is just like shaking, and I'm like, why am I shaking so bad? I love doing this. I love
Oh,
it. Why does my body do this every time?
but I think that's the transformation, right? That's like the that's why we do it because it's
Yeah.
that like it's like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Are we gonna survive? Or it's like,
Yeah, and then it's funny because like if I'm doing like a big show, I'm getting really nervous, and then after my set, I just feel like this whole relief, like just okay, I can just relax now. I'm done, and it's great. I love it though, and I love the rush just being on stage and getting lots of laughs and things like that. That's just it's amazing.
it's so amazing.
It
It
really
is. It's
is.
really powerful.
Oh
Yeah. How did you
yeah.
transition into stand up? Like what inspired you to go that direction?
Um, well, I think I always wanted to do it. I think I was just scared. So I used to do a lot of like, I did a solo show in my early 30s, and then I started to do more like writing and character work, and I did a lot of sketch. And then one of the people I did sketch with did stand up, and then um honestly, I took a class from Dawn Whitwell, who's a comedian here, who taught a lot of women because she was tired of doing stand up with just guys. She was like, I'll teach a class so more women do it. And that's when I I did it. And then I realized, wow, it's such a great way to perform and not have to rehearse or have costumes. I was like, so I think it just became yeah, I just kind of naturally kind of started to get into it. And I think also because I had done it like once or twice in LA, but I think it was in Toronto, there was so much opportunity for stage time, you know?
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So there's like a lot, it's a really good place to get good at comedy because you can go up a lot.
Oh, good. That's great.
That is
Yeah.
really that's incredible.
We
Do you
have had
guys do,
similar
where do you guys
in
perform?
SF.
Yeah, like
In,
San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose. We've been to LA, once or twice, not that much, but we performed on our honeymoon in Honolulu. That was super fun.
oh
Yeah.
my God, how
Uh,
incredible.
yeah, we were planning going to Honolulu, and I went on Facebook and I looked for people and I looked for shows and I just started messaging people and sending videos. Hey, my wife are going to be there, this weekend. Whatever. Can we get a spot? Can we get a spot? And somebody gave us a guest spot on a big show, and it was super fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
It was
Yeah,
That's
great.
that was
nice.
probably our favorite time because it was in Hawaii.
Aw. So you guys met doing stand up? Is that how it happened?
No, not exact. So we went to middle school together, junior high, and then we went to different high schools and just kind of went different ways in life. And then 2010, I'm on Facebook now. I get Facebook, and I'm looking up old people, and I kind of, one person leads to another person, leads to another person. I ended up adding her on Facebook, and we chit chat a little bit, and she was like, "Oh, I do stand up comedy now," because she was open micing for about a year at that point, and it was my
Right.
dream. It was my dream to do comedy as well, and so
Oh,
we just started hanging out, and she was helping me get my stuff ready, and I would go to open mics and watch her, and then I started doing it eventually, and here we are.
Yeah.
12 years
I
later.
love it.
Yeah, so
That's
here
so
we are.
cool.
Absolutely, definitely.
That's a
So,
nice.
and it's funny because everybody asks us if we do stand up together, and I say my answer is always yes, we do stand up together, but separately,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
because most places aren't set up for two people anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That's nice to have someone to sort of bond with and go over your stuff with, though.
Yeah,
That's
Oh
absolutely,
yeah. And then
absolutely.
like on the road going to shows, we're bouncing ideas off and jokes
yeah.
and chatting. And then the drive home is always fun too because we talk about everything that happened that night,
Yeah,
the jokes
Yeah.
that didn't hit or
yeah, our
did hit,
sets and
like everything. It's a fun experience, and we get to share it with our loved one,
yeah.
Yeah.
our
I love,
person.
that's good.
Yeah, and I came to a realization during the pandemic, especially because I was on Zooms a lot doing comedy and stuff. So was she, and I realized I couldn't picture myself with somebody who wasn't a comedian because I
Yeah.
feel like they would be kind of jealous because it takes up a lot of my energy and time. And so since we share a passion, it's kind of we're both just in it.
I love it. That's
Yeah,
great.
absolutely, absolutely.
Nice.
So you said you started comedy in Toronto. Like, at what point in your life did you go from LA to Toronto?
So in 2000, well, I did a play because I did a play in Winnipeg. It was a co-production between a theater company in Ventura and a theater company, Manitoba Theater Center. And I met Wes, who's my son's father, and we had this like whirlwind romance. And he was from Toronto. We're not together anymore, but we're very good friends. But
Well, that's good.
we ended up. I ended up moving to Toronto because I had dual citizenship, and then we lived in LA for a little bit, and then we broke up, and then we went back to Toronto. We got back together, and then we went back to Toronto. And so, yeah, love got me to Toronto, but I think
Like it.
it was a good place. Um, I think because for me, I think because kind of create a little bit more of my separate identity and a good place for my son because there's health insurance.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
I mean, not insurance; it's free health care.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so that's and then I'm with someone we've been together. He's not a comedian. But we've been together for almost 13 years. So um but we're like my son is 17 now, so he's finishing high school. So we're sort of in transition. So I might move back to LA to be with my family more, just like part-time.
That's cool. So your family lives in LA? Your dad and all them?
Yeah, my parents are in LA. One brother lives in Tofino, which is in like this island in Vancouver that he's a surfer. So he lives
Wow,
in
in Vancouver? That's cool.
Well, Tofino, there's surfing in Tofino, and then they live in Mexico. That's in near outside of Puerto Vallarta. They have a place now, so they go back and forth.
I love
Their
Okay, I
lives,
would imagine, yeah, the service is probably better there. I would imagine the water in Canada is probably all frozen.
it's very cold.
Yeah.
BC is very cold. It's definitely wetsuit surfing.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
oh my goodness. Sorry. I'm just like because my youngest is 16 years old and she's getting up there and I'm like getting they get they grow so fast and then they leave.
It
Like,
I know it's kind of unreal.
oh man.
kind of
It's
is, yeah.
it's crazy. I
It
know.
really is.
I know.
Oh man.
I
Sorry, I had
know.
that moment where I was just like, they get so big.
I know, and it doesn't, I mean, everyone always says that, but it doesn't feel that long ago that
No,
I
it
had.
goes really fast. Life just, yeah. I mean, we've been there for 12 years, and it really doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Life just goes so fast. It's crazy. So you've been in so many things. Like we can't talk about everything you've been in, obviously, because we'll be here forever. But what are some of the most awesome things that you've kind of been in as far as acting and stuff like that?
Mhm.
Um,
Or fun stuff. Whatever you want to
well,
say.
I mean, I guess the movie that like I was in a movie called LA Confidential. I had a really small part in it,
Ooh.
but that was like a big movie that, and then I
Yeah,
was
that
in,
was a big movie.
and
Mm.
then I've had a weird kind of journey, I guess. I was in this commercial that kind of was one of the first viral commercials, which is weird, called for Nutrigrain. It was a spec commercial, which means it wasn't really it was just for the director. But it became in like 2003 and it became this weird phenomenon that people would just email to each other. Uh, Yeah, you can look it up online. It's for Nutrigrain and it says I feel great. And it was just this director Justin Reardon is just insane and we just made this crazy commercial and so that's the other thing that was really fun. And then recently I co-wrote a movie called Homewrecker that's on Shudder. It's like a comedy horror that we shot in my house in 2018. And
Oh wow, that's incredible.
yeah, and it's done really well. It did a lot of the great festivals in Austin, Fantastic Fest and Fantasia Fest. It was kind of a bummer because it got released over COVID, so it didn't have like a theatrical release.
Oh,
But yeah, it's on Shudder and so that was really fun. And so I'm hoping to and then this year I wrote another movie that I was trying to get money to make and it was getting so frustrating that I made a documentary. I entered an adult ballet competition and I documented myself learning the variation and preparing for it and going to Miami and performing it. So it's kind of like this sort of bizarre journey I took as a
like it.
Eh,
middle-aged woman.
Wow. And so it's I imagine it's been decades since you've done ballet, is that right? Before this?
Well, no, I mean I still took class a lot, but
Okay.
doing point and like going on your toes and all that, I hadn't done that in a while. So yeah, it was like my last ditch effort to become a ballerina. Um, so yeah, so that's what I made this year, and so I'm editing that right now.
That's
That's so
And
awesome.
fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, I just am trying to keep creative, and then next this coming month, Melissa Story is someone that I do a lot of shows with, and we had a sketch series in like 5 years ago, and we are recording an album this coming Sunday, not a week from Sunday, and then at Comedy Bar, and then December 20th. So hopefully we'll release that next year. So
Awesome.
Wow, you got
yeah,
so many
so
things
that's
that so many little fires going. That's awesome.
it. I try. Um,
You mentioned the Homewrecker. You're credited as co-writing that movie. What was the process of writing that like? Because it's a horror comedy, and that's not, that's kind of a different genre.
yeah. So Zach, who directed it, he had actually I met him about, oh, I don't know, 7 years ago, and he edited a short film that I did called Chinatown. And he's so we've been collaborating for a long time, but he had this idea. He wanted to work with me and the other actress, Alex Esso, who's very famous now. She's in uh like she was in Midnight Mass and all the Mike Flanagan. She was in Doctor Sleep. She's in a lot of Mike Flanagan horror movies. So he's friends with her, and he wanted to make a movie with the two of us. So he had this idea, um, just a very loose idea about the story, and then the three of us wrote all the story beats because we were going to use my house and self-finance it. And then we just got together over the course of like couple 3 weeks, and we just wrote it. We wrote
Oh,
it.
you're good.
Yeah. So we just wrote it together, and like he had sort of, I don't know, like we he had a good framework for what he wanted the story to be. And then in terms of the comedy, the funny thing is that we thought, oh, we'll just write it loosely, because we would shoot a lot of videos before where we would improvise a lot. And we thought, oh, we'll just like improvise a lot during the shoot. And then, but then a real movie, and we had no time. And so we ended up really pretty much shooting what we wrote. FYI, when you make a movie, you don't have it's different than a sketch. So yeah, so that was the process. But I hope I answered your question. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it sounded like it was super fun. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you guys use your house? Is your house like super scary?
Well,
Wow, honey.
it was in a way. Well, because the thing was, is like I was going to renovate my kitchen, and I think in Zach's mind, I was going to renovate the first floor, and because it's called home wrecker, it's like a double meaning, and he kind of wanted me to
Oh.
like smash up my house.
Oh my.
But then when we were shooting it, I was like, no, we can't smash up my house. I have to live here for a little bit. So, so yeah, we did end up, kind of, I didn't care too much because the kitchen is totally different. So we kind of smashed up my house a little bit. Um, but yeah, so much of, making a movie is finding one location, keeping this, expenses down. But
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
still a crazy, it's so hard to make a movie, but it's so much fun.
And that's
Like
available on Shutter. Oh, sorry.
oh yeah, it is. You can watch it on Shutter, and you can Amazon Prime.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
Yeah.
okay. We have Amazon Prime, so we'll definitely
Yay.
check that out. It sounds
Oh,
super
I'd love
awesome.
it if you saw it. I
Yeah,
hope you like it. Yeah.
definitely.
We totally.
I might have to go soon.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess you have a podcast. You want to tell us about your podcast real quick?
Sure. Well, we haven't actually done any new podcasts in a long time. So that's with Melissa's story. So we were early podcast people. I think we started our podcast in 2013.
Oh,
And
nice.
we were both single parents at the time, so we would interview, and we would interview people who were single parents or who were co-parenting, and most of them were comedians and
Nice.
actors, and so we would just ask them about like how they handle it with dating and performing. And my son's dad and I were pretty after a little bit, we became pretty good friends, and became pretty close to his new partner at the time, and they had a kid that I would babysit all the time. So it was very fluid. So we were just really curious about how people would work that stuff out. So that's basically what we did. We interviewed people about their parenting. It's called Sex and a Single Parent. Well, it used to be, but now it's called Story and Chong.
Yeah, it's funny. It is. I read about Story and Chong, and I didn't realize it was with a person named Story. That's funny.
Yeah, Melissa's story. Yeah. That's
That's
who I'm doing
awesome.
the comedy album with.
Oh, okay.
That's
Awesome.
wonderful. I feel like that's a really good podcast because when I was, when Sam and I were dating, I was still considered a single parent for my kids. And a lot of the community did not believe that you should be a single parent and doing comedy, that you can't be a good mother and be out there doing comedy. And you having that as a podcast for people, as a resource to say, look, it is possible and you're not a horrible person.
Yeah, that's so
That's
nice to
great.
hear because that's really what I did it for. Because when I was going through the separation and the divorce and like dealing with like, because my son was only 3 years old, it was really challenging and I felt so alone, and it felt like there was only two ways of doing it. There was only like, you never talk to your ex again,
Mhm.
or you're really antagonistic, and now you have to like be this other kind of person and like not perform anymore and not do what you love because you have to raise this kid and otherwise you're a bad mom. And
Yeah.
it was really, and I felt very alone. And so yeah, so talking to all these people, you realize that everybody has a different journey around it, or like some people had it way worse than
Yeah.
so I was
Yeah.
like, oh,
Absolutely.
we interviewed one woman who was a single mom, and she was pregnant and was single and was dating.
Oh, oh man.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm telling you that's a really great podcast idea, and I feel like that can help a lot of people out there, and a lot of people don't realize that there are folks from every walk of life trying to do comedy or trying to follow their dream out there. And having stuff like that is really helpful. Having people like you who are willing to teach others how to do comedy, or even just how to like present their authenticity is really important for the community. So thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So we'll let you get out of here. Do you want to plug your social media?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram at Precious Shelby Chong, and I'm on Twitter, Precious Chong, and Facebook, same, my name.
Awesome.
Precious like the adjective.
Nice. Hey, well, thank you so much, Precious, for joining us. It's been super fun talking to you.
Likewise, thank you for having me.
Excellent. And then everything we do, you can find me at Funky San Medina,
And I'm at She Shines for You.
and everything
Okay,
else is at
awesome.
Hypothetical Comedy. Oh, sorry, everything else is at Hypothetical Comedy. But yeah, so awesome. Thank you so much, Precious.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
Likewise.
Bye.